You helped everyone but forgot yourself. You put your troubles upon a shelf. Now you're gone, but I'll stay strong until your son Cole comes along. He'll follow your footsteps up my rungs to my platform where brightly shines the sun. He will shoot many deer in your same fashion because you taught him with your heart and compassion. And so I bid farewell, old friend. I promise to stay strong until the end. Wally had a very good friend from college who wrote me an email, and I'd like to read that. He's got some powerful things in here and some funny things too. But he said, Wally Beevers was my friend. Wally and I became friends at college. Over the years, we were groomsmen in each other's weddings. Wally became my daughter's godfather. We deer hunted each fall on a small patch of ground I owned. I with my muzzle loader, Wally with his bow. Wally's passion for hunting was huge. He wasn't out for the biggest buck in the woods. He just hunted for the experience. That and the fact that he loved venison. Anyone who camped with him, I'm sure, has experienced steak on a stick. He would take a piece of marinated meat, stick a hot dog fork through it, and hold it over the fire, usually for not quite long enough. It helped to eat Wally's camp food, or campfire food, in the dark. Over the years, we spent many hours talking over the campfire. We relived our college days and talked about our current lives. Wally was a proud father and talked about Haley and Cole often. He was also proud to be a teacher and coach. He took his job seriously, yet it always seemed that he had a lot of fun with the kids. It was Wally's sense of humor and exuberance for life that made being around him such a treat. Wally's sense of humor was, as many of you know, sometimes a bit twisted. Last summer, he stopped at the swimming pool where my daughter was working, and in that unmistakable voice boomed, "Hey, how much to swim naked?" My daughter Jessica knew in an instant who was standing behind her. I've never met anyone with more love for the people around him. He made us smile and forget our troubles. As we mourn Wally's passing, we need to remember not the manner in which he left us, but the things he did and said to enrich our lives. It will be these things that in the coming days and years we look upon and smile. Wally Beevers was my friend. Thank you, Shane Klein. Wally loved to teach, and he knew life was about learning. We have to ask ourselves, what did we learn from Wally? He taught us how to laugh, how to cry, how to handle life's little bumps in the road. He taught his football players how to become strong and persevere, not only on the field, but off the field. He taught me especially that no matter how busy your life becomes, you always make time for your family. The time you lose with your wife and kids can never be made up. In closing, I'd like to say Wally touched all of our lives in some special way. On behalf of our family, I would like to thank all of you for touching Wally's life. You helped to make his life full. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I just want to first say that it is truly an honor to be asked to give a tribute to Wally Beevers. Probably the biggest challenge in giving a tribute to a person like Wally is that he was so many things to so many people that it's hard to focus on just a few of them. It's been really great tonight to hear different people's perspectives throughout the evening. He was a lot of things. He was a loving and respectful husband, a hard-working and adoring father. He was a creative teacher, a talented coach, and a beloved friend. As a parent, judging by the outpouring of support, not only tonight but in the past week, that Wally was friends with everyone. That's a theme you've heard tonight. He was a big personality who could draw you in with his humor and kindness. If he met you once, he would remember you forever. As many of you here know, Wally is one of the very few people you'd ever meet who really would do anything for you. To me, Wally was a lot of things. He was a personal friend. He was a friend of our families and a coaching mentor. I first met Wally in the summer of 2003 when I was hired to teach social studies, and he called to ask if I would coach junior high football. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. Both he and Kathy were so incredibly welcoming. It was Wally's first year as a head coach, and now I really understand just how much he had going on at that time, but that never stopped him from taking care of me, the young buck he called me, making sure that I felt welcome and helping out with junior high football, and he even checked up on me in the classroom during the first week of school. One of the memories I have of Wally during that season is just how tough and demanding he was of his players. And his players that are in here tonight will know exactly what I'm talking about. Kingsland in 03 was coming off the state championship, and he was the new head coach. It was a team that had a lot of questions they needed to answer, and Wally was not about to lower any expectations. He ran tough practices, a lot of conditioning, a lot of hitting. When they started out 0-2, it would have been easy for Wally to question himself or back off on his team, but he did not. He was true to himself as a coach. That team believed in him, and even though he was tough on his players, each and every one of them knew that he cared about them. He had that gift that some people have of being able to be tough on your players while still keeping their respect. That 2003 team was modeled after Coach Beevers. They developed an identity of toughness and relentlessness, and they got on a roll. Then they marched right back to the Dome where they finished state runner-up. The lesson was apparent, and Wally always reminded me of it. You have to be who you are and stick with what you know. You can't be someone you're not. Wally personified that every day. I think that's one of the things that endeared him to so many different types of students and athletes over the years. Wally could connect with you no matter what walk of life you were from or what your interests were. He was who he was, and he never apologized for that, and he certainly taught kids that same thing. It was also during that 2003 season that I learned something else about Wally, that he was a kind individual who never wanted recognition for doing what he thought was right. There was a student on that team with special needs who didn't have transportation to or from games or practices. Even though this student might not have been a star player, Wally knew how important it was to him to be a part of that team. One night after a game, I remember this game, it was a big win, and we were all sitting in the coach's office and we were celebrating. And I didn't even do anything, I was a junior high coach, but I was still celebrating. And someone asked where Wally was. No one knew. Well, 15, 20 minutes later, he arrived, and when he was asked where he was, he downplayed it and changed the subject. Later, I found out that he had been bringing that player home to his house 5 miles out in the country after practices and games. Now, this particular night took longer because that young man was hungry, so Wally brought him to Quick Trip and got him some food before he brought him home. That was Wally. If it was good for the student to be involved in the football program, he would do whatever it took to make it happen, even if it was an inconvenience to him. You know, I've heard it tonight from Dave Dyke, everyone mattered equally and everyone should be treated well. Something else about Wally that many of you know is that he was a loyal person. If you were on his team, then he'd do anything for you and he'd stop at nothing to protect you. When he moved me up to coach varsity football with him in 2006, he always had the utmost confidence in me as a coach, sometimes more than I did in myself. And you'll have to follow along here as a football story. This is for all the fans and players and coaches in here. One of our early games that season, we were playing Chatfield and we were down by 7 in the fourth quarter. We got the ball deep in our own territory. I was calling the plays. And we started driving, and we came to a 4th and 3. There's still a lot of time left. I looked at him without hesitating. He said, "Get your play call in." All right, we're going for it, I guess. So we converted, and we kept the drive going. We came to another 4th down, this time just past the 50-yard line. He just smiled at me and said again, "Go ahead, call it. We're going for it." Okay, we converted again. We were still on the 25-yard line, still driving, and he said to me, "You better get your 2-point conversion call ready, because when we score, we're going for 2 and the win." All right, we scored a touchdown on another 4th down, and I called the 2-point conversion play. Special right, 2-mo, Z-squirrel out. Alex Nelson, complete to Carl Eberly, 2-point conversion, we win over Chatfield. All I see is Coach Beevers running down the sideline. Man, I tell you what, if I would have known we were going to call a pass, we would have kicked the PAT.